In this video, we're going to teach you how to build a personal website in just a few minutes. This is what the website will look like by the time we're done. There are a few ways to approach this tutorial and some resources you should be aware of before we begin. Because this is a beginner tutorial, we don't want you to have to download any additional software to follow along. In this tutorial, we'll be coding in the W3 Schools editor, which is linked below, because you can run and see the output of your code in real time. However, this is an online editor, so make sure you copy and paste your code into a text file on your computer when you're done before exiting the browser, because the browser will not save your work. The first way to approach this tutorial is to follow along with us. If you follow along with us, you'll learn more about the different pieces of HTML and CSS. There are 8 parts to the tutorial, and for each part we have put together some prepackaged code for your convenience. The packages can be found linked in the video description below. At the top of the coding package is a description of what the code will be used for, as well as directions on where to copy and paste the code in your file. Package 1 also contains comments showing you where to paste the other packages. The second way to approach this tutorial is to just take the code we have prepared for you and customize it however you choose. In the same link where the coding packages are located, you'll see the full example code. Feel free to take this code and adjust the content or colors to fit your own personal website needs. Let's get started.
Let's start off. I'm Sydney, and I will be leading this workshop today. What is HTML? It stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and it is basically the way you put in content on a website, and then CSS works along with HTML to add style to that content. So this is my website demo that I made for this class. Here is the prepackaged code, and we're just going to copy and paste that in the editor. The doc type, that is how you let the server know that it's going to be reading a HTML document. You always start it with an HTML tag as well, just so what's following this tag is going to be the content for your web page. The meta information goes in here, and also the title, which shows on your tab for your website. So at the top, like my example, I put website demo, so you can see that up here in the top. So you can put whatever you want in there. So I'm just going to do website demo again. There's multiple types of CSS that you can do. Today we're going to do it in the head, so we can just have everything together, because that's easier than having 2 different things, especially if we're just using the W3 Schools editor. We're going to move on to the body. This is where you put all your content. This is where the magic happens. We're going to move on to the header. All right, so as you can see, my header, that's the flavortown.com at the top. This is how we're going to start doing our header, and we're going to edit that with the CSS later. I'm going to type in the flavortown.com because I'm just going to stick with the demo I made. You guys can put whatever you want. Okay, and then I think it's super important, the most important thing when I make a website, to label everything with a class, just so you can edit it easier with CSS later. So I am going to just name this header title, okay? Then we're going to hit run. You can see it up there at the top. Moving on, we're going to go into the navigation. Okay, so with navigation, you start making it the way you would make a bullet pointed list. But in CSS, you would take away the bullets and make it horizontal or vertical and align it to wherever you want it on your page. I'm just going to enter in home and tour, because on my webpage, I talked about Guy Fieri's tour dates when he's going to visit your town. So the UL point here, that means unordered list. And the LI means list item. So whatever LI you put in between the UL, that is going to be on your bulleted list. Now, when you're doing a navigation bar, if you take away the A, which is anchor, you can just see home, okay? And it's not lit up like a link, like Tor is, because it has the anchor tag in there. With the anchor tag, you can link it to another page of code that you have. So I'm just going to name it with a placeholder. So I usually just do a hashtag and home or something. I like to have the hashtag in there just so it like brings my eye to it so I don't forget to change the link when I go back and add in the new sheets. And then I'm just going to do hashtag tour. So I'm going to hit run, and you can see they're both lit up again because they are now links. Okay, so I'm going to send in the first part of how we're going to organize the information on this site. So on one side, which I named side, it's the Guy Fieri picture and the caption. And on the other side, it is the paragraph and the header. So I named it with the class row, and then I named it side as well because we're working on the side with the picture and the caption right now. So I named the picture image so you can edit it easily. I always recommend making your picture the right size you want before you link it into your document. You link in the image with an image tag right here, and then you SRC it. I did a div, which is basically a section, and this is where I put the image and then a caption. So I'm just going to put the caption that I had for him. So, okay, then you can see that over there in the little image because I did the placeholder. Now, we're going to move this div down, this one right here at the very bottom, because we're going to start working on the main section. And since it's all in row, you have to keep it in the row div. Okay, so just so you remember, this is the Welcome to Flavortown and the paragraph that I wrote of Guy Fieri's famous quotes. So I'm gonna write in here, the header tag is H3. You could use a paragraph tag to write the Welcome to Flavortown thing, but it makes it easier in CSS later if you just do a header and get it around the size that you want already. Okay, in the paragraph, you guys can add whatever you want into the paragraph. In the paragraph, you can also do fun things like italics. So you would do an italics tag, which is an I, and then you do an I closing tag. So now we're going to go on to the footer. Okay, so I'm just doing a normal footer tag. You do not need to put this in the div. You do that outside of that so it goes below the row and is not included in anything because you want that footer down at the bottom. And then you can see this is the footer, and we will fix that when we head over to CSS. So now we're going to scroll all the way back up to the top of the page because we're doing the end document CSS, and we are going to put our CSS within the style tag. We're going to paste that in between the opening and closing style tags so it just everything stays organized. First of all, this is how we do CSS. We do 2 curly braces, an opening and closing, and you put whatever thing you want to edit on the outside of the curly braces on the left side. This little star is special. It means all. It means everything. So I put the box sizing. We're going to fill in border box for our, okay, I'm going to hit run, and that just did a little border box on the Flavortown, but we're not done filling in stuff, so that's not really what I wanted yet. Now we're going to move on to the body. So the body is where we put all of the information. So we're going to make the height 100%, and that just makes it fill up the web page fully. So it'll always fit perfectly to your browser. And then we're going to do margin 0 because if you can see on the corner of that Flavortown, there's a little bit of white space like over here. Like we're going to get it down to where there's no margin. Okay. And then as you can see, if you hit run, it moves it over and you don't see that pesky white space anymore. Okay, moving on to the header. I did 20px padding, and then I did the font size 50px, the letter spacing 10px, the text align center. and bam. So I like the hex color picker a lot. So like, let's say I want like a pink or something and I'm just over here. So I'm gonna copy and paste that and you can just put it in. It's way cooler than tan. Bam, look at that. So moving on, we're gonna go into building our navigation. Up here we had the header, body, and all. And down here we're gonna start moving and working with the UL, which is the unordered list, if you remember. Now, this is going to get rid of the bullet points. So we're gonna type list style type and do none. So I just hit run. And obviously we already have the colors entered in there, so it made the background of it the tan color. So it got rid of the bullet points, and we're going to do display, and we are going to do flex. So you do the background color, you can do whatever font color you want, and the font size is already in there, which is 20px. So I'm going to do the padding and the margin now, which is 0 and 0. I'm going to hit run again. So now to the LIA, we're going to do display and block. So display, block. Okay. The color's already in there. And we're going to do the padding, the left PX, which is going to be 14, and then 20px. Text align, we're going to move on to there. And we are going to do center. So we're going to start working with row, and the display is flex, which means everything will size nicely together according to the browser size. Like I said, that's very important. And then so we're going to start working on the side. Now, whenever you do CSS with a class, you have to do a period before the class name. So we're going to start working with the flex, and we're going to do 30%. So this means that this information will be on the left 30% of the page, and obviously the rest will be on the right 70%. So we'll just enter in the 70 here now on dot main. And then padding is going to be for side 10px and text align center, because even though it's on its 30%, you want it to be centered within its 30% of the web page. And then, yeah, center. We're gonna run that, and bam! Wow, it's beautiful, except for the nav bar. So now we're gonna work on the padding for the main. I did 10px for that as well, just to keep everything consistent. And then now we're gonna start working on the welcome, which is what we named the welcome to Flavortown. We're just gonna do the font size, and we're gonna put that at 30px so it stands out from the paragraph. And then we're gonna do the caption at 15px. And then paragraph is 18px. But when we do this, it'll just like look better now. So we're going to do the line height 1.5. Run it, and that you can see it spaced out the sentences a little bit more. And now we're going to move on to that footer. Okay, so I just gave you everything for this one, and we can just see how that's going to run. And you can see it's right there at the bottom. It's stuck. That's how we like them. This will format the web page to fit, let's say, like a mobile phone. So I'm going to show that over here. As you can see, I squished it all the way down, and the flavortown.com shrunk down to fit all in the browser, because if you didn't do that, it would overflow.
There we go.
Okay, we're just going to run that, and then see the browser just did the columns and switch the row. So that is the full run through I have, and yeah, that's how you make this website.